when Mitch McConnell said the solution to holding Trump accountable for January 6th is the criminal justice system. When Trump was being investigated for that, it was called a witch hunt.
Well, I think they've been very clear that of the role that they have and what they expect out of their Justice Department.
Which is that the Justice Department does what the president
wants.
Well, no,
because...
I want to hop into a CNN panel debate following yet another indictment of Trump's political enemies, this time Letitia James, where the MAGA response, for some reason, is not at all comparable to what it just was a year ago when they said political weaponization is the greatest evil known to man, and how could Democrats ever do this? Now they don't care, or it's legit, or whatever. We'll get into all of it. Strap in. Leave us a like on the video if you can. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. We can only get there with your help, and let's get right to it.
Well, why aren't we just asking the basic question, is she guilty? I mean, there's evidence, there's charges. The evidence actually looks like there might be something here. I mean, is that not important to anyone? We're talking about all the political back and forth. What if she's guilty?
I mean,
the New York Attorney General committing mortgage fraud, making false statements, isn't that a big deal to anyone? Whether she opposes Trump or not.
It's a fair point, but it would be more fair if you had actually applied that logic when there were several separate cases, including, by the way, on an issue that your former boss, Mitch McConnell, said the justice system needed to handle, which was January 6th. When Trump was being investigated for that, it was called a witch hunt. When Mitch McConnell said the solution to holding Trump accountable for January 6th is the criminal justice system. So at that time, Republicans were saying that's all just a witch hunt. They weren't interested in whether or not he was guilty.
Well, the justice system did engage in January the 6th. They indicted and convicted hundreds and hundreds of people.
And you all called it a witch hunt.
I mean, they have literally no shame, right? Donald Trump had an entire trial with multiple people's testimonies, including those who worked for him, like Hope Hicks, right? Text messages, emails, audio proof of all of the crimes he was on trial for. And MAGA still said, this is weaponization. It's targeting, like it's a sham. The liberals are evil. We can't forget this. Like there was all of this massive uproar despite mountains of evidence, right? No prosecutors fired, no Biden directing his AG to do this. Massive uproar. Remember that. Now, Trump goes after his political enemies. He's had to fire prosecutors just to find people willing to do so, mind you. He's had to post on social media to direct his attorney general to do so, mind you. He then had a private dinner with her, of which she won't reveal the context to anyone, before these indictments came, mind you. And all of a sudden, the MAGA response isn't rage. It's not how dare you. It's, well, what if she actually did? Let's just let the justice system play out. It exposes that they don't even care about the issues they were the most passionate about, in so much that it's only happening to, like when it's happening to their side is the only time they care. But it's the same people also who are cheering on Tom Homan being left off without charge for taking $50,000 in a bag as a bribe. These people literally just want to go after Democrats.
Well, I think they've been very clear that of the role that they have and what they expect out of their Justice Department.
Which is that the Justice Department does what the president
wants.
Well,
no, because the American people made it pretty clear last November. No one walked into a voting booth last November and said, oh, geez, I didn't know Donald Trump had been indicted. They all knew it. They thought there was a two-tier justice system the same way millions of other people did.
So in other words, doubling down on a two-tier justice system is what Trump ran on. Correct. I mean, because I remember, hold on, I remember asking, I asked Senator Tim Scott when he was on this show last year, you know, is Trump just going to go after his political enemies? And he said, absolutely not. Trump has not ever said he was going to go after his political enemies. And now I'm being told that this is what he campaigned on all along, and that the American people affirmatively voted for him to prosecute people based on his enemies list.
I mean, it's just the only card they play, right? I call it being a cry bully. When they don't have any power, when they understand they're in a losing position, they act like the ultimate victim being targeted at every single turn. Them being held accountable, that's them being victimized. Then, when they have the power, they use that act as justification to now be the ultimate bully, and typically they do all the things that they pretended the liberals were doing to them. They canceled Jimmy Kimmel for his words after years of pretending to be canceled for their words. They targeted political enemies after years of pretending to be targeted for their political beliefs. And we don't have to play the, oh, what if they're legit charges game with MAGA, who we know for a fact did not and would not do the same if the shoe was on the other foot. If Kamala was the president and these were charges against Trump, they would not be acting like this. It would not be, well, let's see, and what if he did it and all of this? It would be the evil liberals are destroying democracy. So I'm not playing with these people anymore, and I'm not going to act like we actually have to indulge in their delusions. We also literally have the accidental True Social post from Trump directing his AG to go after these specific people, which he then swiftly deleted because he's like, oh shit, people are going to realize what I'm doing behind the scenes. But yeah, guys, Biden was doing this and Trump isn't. And it's fair when Trump does it. Like, he had to fire prosecutors and bring people from out of state to make this work. Let's be so for real.
This is not the first No Kings rally, by the way. There was one this summer. So this is the second No Kings rally. And Speaker Johnson didn't have to refer to Marxists and pro-Hamas. But here's what's interesting. Every time this administration and Speaker Johnson start to lose the argument or get panicked, they push the immigration panic button. That's not getting any traction. So now they're pressing the Marxist panic button, the pro-Hamas panic button. So this is just another way for him to deflect from what's happening. And because people want to peacefully assemble and use their right to express themselves, he's now trying to characterize these as pro-Hamas rallies. That's not what these are.
I mean, it's really a few buttons they press once they lose the battle of substance and facts. And I think the more we can get MAGA to realize and pick up on these patterns, the more we can maybe save them, right? Because they're pretty easily detectable. The second MAGA, Trump, any of them loses on facts, it becomes about wokeness. It becomes about illegal immigrants receiving X or Y, or radical Marxists and communism overtaking America or whatever. You see Trump saying this even about Republicans now. I think this is where you can start to get people to pick up on it, like judges and prosecutors that he appointed that just don't go along with them, because it shows it's not a principled opinion that he just has of liberals rather than buzzwords that work and for probably IQ deficit reasons continue to work 8 years later on MAGA.